cause do capitalism gone mad. Provide for your family today on your present salary is an impossibility in this country. So many bills to pay, there is no conceivable way to save for a rainy day in this country. Avariciousness, to be precise, is why every damn thing so overpriced. Big business making everybody feel government give them an open license to steal. Would you believe me? 1 night on panty is $19.90. $20 for some baby milk. The cheapest jersey costs over $60. 200 and change a yard for silk. It hard here in Trinidad. Lord have mercy, capitalism gone mad. It's sad, things getting more bad. Oh Lord, capitalism gone mad.
This is Caribbean Vibes.
To buy a pack of cigarette, just leave you with a hole in your wallet, and money is so hard to get in this country. Necessity or luxuries, it doesn't matter what the item is, they're charging anything they please in this country.
Yes, indeed, of course, a pleasant good night to all and sundry, East, West, North, South, Central, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are, streaming on the World Wide Web, a pleasant good day to you. Yes, Rowley has created, of course, a kleptocratic country where you have to be dishonest in order to survive in Trinidad and Tobago. They themselves, of course, being or put another way, being the perfect example of a kleptocracy, a government of thieves. But of course, we have a different type of thieving that we will discuss tonight. It is the elections and the plan of Rowley to steal the next elections. We will expose, we will discuss, and we will of course find counter remedies to that evil intention and of course disposition. Let us not waste time. A pleasant good night to all and sundry, East, West, North, South, Central once again, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are, streaming on the World Wide Web, a pleasant good night to you.
You got to have heavy contact, know how to move up in society, to make any kind of impact in this country. You got to know how to cheaply feel, how to scheme and swindle properly, perfect the art of wheel and deal in this country. I say survival in this land.
Yes, indeed, of course. Don't forget, of course, this is the penultimate before, of course, my day off, so to speak. Tomorrow, of course, this being, of course, Thursday, and then therefore the penultimate or the day before. My, of course, temporary, I should say. I would say it's a respite, but of course, just to get rejuvenated in my favorite, of course, in the local expression, water in place. But that being as it may, we have our duty and responsibility. I want to thank all of you who were very patient this morning in terms of the ground report, and this voice, of course, is going. It appears that mine has a little rackle in it as well. So you'd understand when you are overworked and when you, of course, push yourself to a point, there's something that must give. After all, we are only human. Yes, indeed. And as I always say, all play and no work make Jack a mere toy, and all work and no play make Jack a dull boy. I don't want to be dull, so I am going to, of course, take a sabbatal, of course, temporary as it is tomorrow night. So, of course, let's get on, of course, with the business of the country at this point in time, because it is crucial that we understand the issues that are involved, especially, of course, as far as the elections is concerned. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, of course. So tonight, as I said, we are going to look at, of course, the whole question of the preparedness for election. And Rowley's, of course, he is at it again. Let me say up front. He is at it again to try to thief the 2025 elections. We're going to bring the proof to you so you will understand. Most of you will be shocked. You will be surprised. You will be, of course, in a state of, I should say, flummox. I don't want to say discombobulation, because it means, therefore, you have to be a fool to do the same thing over and over and expect a different result. Well, Rowley is that kind of fella, but we, knowing who he is, will, of course, safeguard ourselves and develop countermeasures to deal with that matter, whether it be at the level of EBC, whether it be at the level of course, international organizations that are connected to the EBC, or to, of course, institutions that are normally, of course, known to be superintending, of course, elections all over the world, including, of course, in this region. And more importantly, nations of influence, particularly, of course, the Donald Trump administration. I think they will listen to us on this occasion simply because they know that Rowley and they are toxic. They know that they are no damn good for Trinidad and Tobago. They know that they have not been able to tell Maduro as it is on his human rights track record, and expect you and I, taxpayers, the consequence of Maduro's evil, despotic, terrible, wicked, diabolical, atrocious, and retrogressive agenda in Venezuela that has created over 100,000 persons to migrate from there and come here, and Rowley and they remain silent on the matter. Human rights violations galore, and he remains silent. That is a very valid argument that we will have to put, of course, as is part of the dossier that we are developing about this government through the diplomatic pouch. Whether the ambassador reaches here on time or not is irrelevant to me. We will send, of course, one by post and wait for the ambassador to come, because we don't trust the present one, because, of course, they are part of the legacy, if you want to call that, or the vestige of the Biden administration. We want people who are serious and are very firm about, of course, the infringement and the abuse, not only of their office, but, of course, of the people who they were elected to serve, and questionably as the PNM has been, but they were elected anyway because they are in office and must be recognized by, of course, other governments. They can't recognize the opposition because they are not, of course, in control of the treasury and the apparatus of government. And the level of abuse that Rowley and his minions have, of course, generated in this mafia-style criminal enterprise called the PNM, we must expose to the whole world, and we must intensify that action and that, of course, focus. We have no choice, because Rowley is at it again. You know what I say? I say Rowley is at it again, trying to laying the foundation to steal the elections, and it's, you know, he's like a dog sucking egg. No, nothing else. Because on the last occasion in 2020, quite apart from 2015, when, of course, he interfered with the EBC's chairman and caused him, of course, to extend the time of elections for 1 hour. We don't know yet up to now, until they get out of office, what was the benefit to the PNM on that occasion. But we know in 2020, he also engaged in a similar exercise where of course he orchestrated the non-presence of independent observers, particularly from the Commonwealth, who said they were prepared to come. All you had to do was to give them 1 day quarantine, and they will be in the fields thereafter, of course, and get a ministry to, of course, guide them around or to show them around as to where the polling stations, etc., etc. They would have known if they were here of the recount and of the findings of those ballots all over the place, those ballot papers all over the place. And, of course, they would have been aware, as is contained in the dossier that we are sending, of course, to the State Department to get the attention of the United States Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, as contained in that dossier, is the fact that mysteriously they sent, of course, in a short space of time after the 2020 general elections, they decided, of course, to give a company well known to Rowley and they gave them our money, $5 million US. Are talking about Granby, a toilet paper company, and when they went on their compound, there were bales of polling cards and other elections material, including that of the 2020 elections. So we know. And while, of course, through the Freedom of Information, NASA Scope and others and officials of the EBC playing dotish, playing ignorant, playing they don't know. They don't know this one and they don't know that one. They don't know Granby because they has donate the paper to somebody else, etc., etc. A bunch of hogwash and dishonest people. And I say so out of fear of contradiction, because it ain't done there. Remember, of course, the pushback movement did in fact deliver a letter to them. Sheena Scope wasn't there, the chief elections officer in this country. But Kamala Prasad Bissessa did warn us when, of course, the announcement was made that she was being made, of course, the chief elections officer. And in spite of all of the criticism, in spite of all of the skepticism, in spite of all of the vitriolic statements relating, of course, to their integrity, their morality, their suitability for the job, because justice must not only be done, but must appear to be done, a crucial part of the judicial process, so as to ease people's mind. They still remain there. She's still there. And of course, we know that at one time Rowley was saying leading up to the 2020 elections, he don't know she at all. He don't know she. But she was the government representative in an attempt, of course, to solve the issue in Guyana. And then he only went to Guyana, and he telling us that he never met, of course, the Trinidad and Tobago government representative in resolving the matter of Guyana and the outcome of the election. And thank God they had, of course, the Carter Foundation and other extra CARICOM representatives, including from the OS, I believe, and the matter was resolved there. Of course, it was taken to court. It reached their highest court, the Caribbean Court of Justice. But the fact of the matter is that it was a blatant withdrawal and miscounting in order to give, of course, the incumbent at the time, a man that Rowley has been reported to be in support of, and was making declarations, I understand, as well, in favor, of course, of the incumbent. And it turned out that the opposition won the blasted elections fairly and squarely. And today they are in government because of that kind of tenacity, that kind of commitment to not just the rule of law, but to the wishes of the people, which is of utmost importance. We saw that when the Privy Council said that Rowley and they infringe our right to vote. and the time to vote in the local government elections last. Let's not waste time. But let's go to the lines immediately. I know that you are raring to get the information that I put together for tonight. You will see it. But a pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Good night, Associate Professor Lennox Medicine de Comate inside the house.
Hey, yes, man. A pleasant good night to you, my friend.
You have to take something for that.
yeah. Again, it. Yeah.
Let me tell you, and I'm not charging you for it.
Go ahead.
Gargle with salt water thrice a day.
Okay.
Coffee, garlic, lemon juice, a little bit of honey.
All right.
Brew that together and drink that.
Well, I'm sure my assistant is listening, so I'm sure she's taking note of that recipe.
Right. So let me repeat it. Yeah. Gargle 3 times a day, morning, noon, and night.
Okay.
Ginger, coffee, lemon juice, a little bit of honey, brew it together and drink that as your tea.
All right.
Let me get to the business of the day.
Yes, indeed.
The potential stealing of the Ghana election and how it relates to us. You know the current PNM government had a horse in the race in Ghana.
Yes, of course. What's his name? What's his name? Granger. Yes, that's right. Granger. That's right.
And you know, a former Attorney General from the PNM going to fight the case. A fella from Port of Spain North and South who make a senior counsellor. He went too. And it's a simple thing, just like them Meta Food lawyers.
Yes.
They went to fight a case that tell you 33 is not the majority in 65. Plain, simple arithmetic, because a lot of them look like they didn't pass the SAT.
Well, yeah, you can see that from the level of embarrassment by what I consider to be simpleton mistakes. Only a simpleton can make those kinds of mistakes, so therefore they would never academics in the sense that we know.
Right.
But go ahead.
Yeah. And Balmati tell us that too, and Fitzy, when you open up his mouth, he tell us that too.
Oh, but yes, because as soon as they open them out, well, they should not have done that because they remove all doubt. Go ahead.
Right. I want to talk about saving the country from KCR. Mrs. former PNM Finance Minister said it all. The former PM, Manning, did not want the man to go back up in the 2010 election. But the special interest group, and we had to find out who's those special interest group.
Yes, indeed.
That forced him. His son could save the day by being very careful with signing any letter to carry it to what the president will do. He has to save his father's legacy, if the father did in fact so, because a lot of people like me was bitter with Prime Minister Patrick Manning for allowing KCR to win his seat and by extension become leader. And look where he has carried Trinidad, to the doorstep of Haiti and to the back door of Venezuela.
Yes, indeed.
By the way, before I forget, Trump going to seize Delcy Plane. It is in Santo Domingo, the Dominican Republic. Rubio visited. They say yes, go with it, but just pay us the maintenance fee and the security for keeping
that's another one. That's another one because there was one
the second
under
one.
Biden. Okay, all right. Good.
Right, the second one. That is news coming off the press router today. And you have to understand, if you look off all the routes, because remember they are a narcotic nation,
Yes.
So they need routes and they need vessels to transport what Trump and them say they transport.
Yes.
So if you take out 2 aircrafts, which basically might, I'm not saying it happening, then they go use the waterways.
Yeah, well then that's the next move, whether above or below.
Right. But we have to understand, and give me 2 seconds to tell you this. We have to understand what is happening in Trinidad. Now, we were keeping that pipeline through Trinidad to do the nefarious business. We have instances where leadership in our country might have facilitated. You remember the nephew who lose his neck? Just like what we seen Blanche yesterday.
Yes.
You remember Lal Bihari Charan?
Yes. Yeah. I have no doubt in my mind, logical, that his visits to Venezuela on a regular basis. We know that of course she's there. It must be that he has been in contact. It must be inquiring at minimum. But of course he's no help to law enforcement if she's a fugitive from justice here in Trinidad. So we know that there is a link and a conspiracy and a very
nexus,
evil,
and they're trying to
very evil nexus. Yes.
My last point quickly, Jampro. Did we close down Petrotrin to help you brethren in Jamaica come up with a refinery? Because the timing is so close. We shut down Petrotrin in 2018, and Jambo started to do things. They say they're going to start with 3,500 barrels. That is with Lalbiari Telreed, but they're supposed to have brought it up to 50,000 already.
Yeah, but I think they are 30,000 from the coming out from the deal that they just broke over with Trinidad.
So they waited to cement a long-term contract to then spend the money to upgrade it to make 50,000 barrels. And,
I suppose they're getting business now because Trinidad is an importer of fuel or energy, which they formerly were an exporter of. And that to me is a betrayal of extraordinary deviousness and betrayal. But go ahead.
You know, they say Patrick Manning was the godfather of CARICOM.
Yes.
But there's a movie with Marlon Brando called the Godfather, and you know what he used to deal with. So I don't know if it is always help save people economy and those.
Yeah, but Rowley, it's always for evil. Always for evil. It's always something sinister. It's always something wicked. And of course, totally disrespecting the population. Yeah.
More and more you look at this thing. We closed down, we refined, where we had our own people employed.
Yeah.
To employ other people in another country.
That's right. That is what it boils down to. Apart from energy insecurity. Everything
that is decision making backwards. I go and have a nice night.
Yes, my friend. Thank you very much. Of course, yes, people. Of course, let me begin immediately by playing that video. I want to thank all of those who felt that the animated way that I presented the material last night to show where Shortwa was talking hogwash and lack of knowledge, or he's a total ass and he has no sense of geography and believe that he sees in everybody that which is in him, a total backside. How the hell you could tell me that Jamaica, that Trinidad and Tobago could get more bunkering, of course, business than Jamaica, and ship coming through the Panama Canal will come to Trinidad when you have dismissed, when you have eliminated, when you have annihilated your competitive advantage. Competitive advantage. If they will come here if they believe they're getting cheaper oil, but you buying from someone, you had to put a markup in order to make a business, but they could get it to the supplier, which is Jamaica. How the hell you making any business? How the hell you doing that, Stuart Young? Where is your competitive advantage? Where is your competitive advantage? You have none, because you sold it out. You dismissed it to save Rowley because his name was calling in the fake oil matter. That's what you did. That's all you did. And you give us a delusion, and by some kind of epiphany, some kind of amorphous cock and bull story that you want to do business. Yes, of course, a ship coming here to deliver, to collect whatever it is, will certainly, of course, want it to be you must have, as a nation, you must have fuel. If ships coming here or planes coming here, you must have fuel at your airport. You must have at your port readily available. That is the fuel you would have. But to say that you purchase it to do business because of the expansion, ostensibly according to Rowley, of the Panama Canal, nobody coming down this side south. They're going north to Jamaica, and then of course they will go to United States, and then Canada, and then to Europe over the Atlantic Ocean. That is the more logical. you need to get one clout for that nonsense that you're telling, of course, our children, our C students and our CXC students who don't know, of course, the geographic positioning of both countries and in relation to the Panama Canal and of course, coming through from the Atlantic, from the Pacific Ocean. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
A pleasant good night to you, Uncle Lennox, and
Yes.
to all your listeners and contributors. Share the live. We need the 20,000.
Yes,
So
man.
it's just like Forex. It's badly needed.
Yes, man. Badly
It
needed.
just-
Thank you very much. Of course, I
So-
forget to mention that. Yes, indeed. People 20,000 to begin with. Yes, that's the target. Tell a friend, tell an enemy, tell, of course, acquaintance, tell all of whom you wish to, of course, you have access to and wish to tell. We will really appreciate, of course, that expansion. Go ahead, Mr. Faizabad. Thank you very much for that
And I would like to tell Toaster right, that to tell all the PNMites who like salt and crapper back the jumpy to listen to hear what Uncle Lennox does be saying and make sense of it, so they will understand that their party, what they serve all their life, and it says black strong man, black, everything is black. Now it's handed over to a split indentured laborer and a Chinese immigrant. So which one, or they choose which one, or they want to be a leader and to follow. But in this country,
Paul Spain has come across to me like those mingy dog who, of course, ain't care anything. They are abused, they are dismissed, they look like fools, they act like fools. I mean, total buffoonery talk. Every time they bring up something, you are able, of course, to clinically, of course, dismiss it. And they still come again. They remind me, of course, of Rowley. And I made the analogy with, of course, a little toddler who sees, of course, a pot of hot water and seems to have a penchant to gravitate to pull it down, not knowing porting, at least in the case of the toddler, they don't know that the consequences will be, of course, a wicked or nasty burn. But, of course, they act the same damn way. And eventually, of course, he always gets, of course, beaten verbally, and he comes again like he's a sucker for, of course, for what I consider to be flagellation, verbal flagellation, meaning that whip and whip and whip after whip. I'm sure Barize House calling here and say, don't talk on our behalf. Don't talk on our behalf. You are a total nitwit. But go ahead, my friend.
so this is where they just try to change the narrative and it call us trend of thought.
Yeah,
So,
that's right.
just-
But futility, that reverse psychology of the worst kind. But go ahead.
Right. So, and to describe him a little furthermore, the mangy dog have a little saw on the top of his tail where the man's catching him and he can't reach it. So he just going in circles. So I will just tell him that. So that I want to ask now that in the EBC, there are the voting districts in this country. Look at the advantage the PNM done holding already against us. Because there are some constituencies in this country where ordinary citizens cannot venture in. So how it is if the UNC and other political parties have to go in those areas to talk and have public meeting, what is there and what is guaranteed for them to go in to have meetings in those areas? So because they are PNM, nobody else can come and talk, nothing to deliver. So the EBC, the question, is it a voting machine, electronic, to vote in this general election? Because for the last local election, they try to start a song there, what is coming. So we want to know if that is why the $10 million already didn't get, and one saying that the finance minister say already get to finish the list, and by sometime this month, although finish the rest of the work. but the work started, but not right through the constituencies. Is that fairness? That is the start with that is unfairness. Now, it's seeing there is a virus picking up in the country and they're suppressing it. Is it waiting for it to get a pandemic stage after the carnival to go into social distancing again to slow down the voters at the booth, at the police stations and then?
We put nothing beyond them. We put nothing beyond this pernicious, evil, bottomless pit of wickedness in an attempt, of course, to impose themselves unmeritoriously on the people. We put nothing, and that is why we ourselves must always be prepared for countermeasures, and be proactive in that regard.
Because you see this Sandy Grandi and all where they're going, nobody wants them. And that is why Keith Rowley did not call the internal election because the supporters don't want him. And that's why he's making a dictator model to put a successor. And you see it with the 1911, and you see the 9/11, it blew up in the face, and yet still all of them come as one. And just imagine, right now, Foster Cummins have his people who vote for him, on his sleeping on his side of the road, they know where they're going tonight. And yet still, Porter Spain has come, and he don't want to say that if he get the ID card, and he's a Trinidadian. And how much people of ID cards expiring this year is they going and do it? How fast the EBC is processing it? What is the procedures? What are the new voters who come on stream when the list will be advertised? So, Uncle Lennox, we know that the PNM and India had a big commission inquiry where the lawyers say that they find dead people voted. So we have to be with brothers keepers, and this time, street captains and others and all the village councils, we have to know what we're doing. Come out there and be vigilant, as they say, because you see how fast they destroy the papers on them. What you talk about? Yes. Have a nice night, Uncle Lennox.
Yes, my friend. And I want to tell them they could jump high, they could jump low. The fact of the matter is that the people are aware. The consequential or the concomitant actions that the people would take. And of course, it is building momentum to, of course, be extremely vigilant as far as the EBC is concerned, as far as the government is concerned, as far as the party is concerned. And they are now saying we mustn't talk about PNM business. All of that hogwash. So we know they're feeling the pressure because, of course, like eagle eyes, like bullseye, from a position of vantage, we will scrutinize every single action that they would have taken, every single move that they would have made, and every single place that they would have gone. Because this is our country, and no small group of individuals who believe that somehow the country is bequeathed to them by some imposter, some ghost, whether they believe it's Eric William and so on. Well, I want to ask the ghost and or Eric William, who gave Trinidad to them to hand it over to this bunch of criminals that is part and parcel of this criminal enterprise called the PNM. Let's go to the lines. A pleasant good night to welcome to the corridor.
Yes, Dr. Lennox.
Yes, my friend.
I sent something to you just now.
Just now, oh gosh, I wouldn't have time because my other system down, so I limp in along. Yes.
I said, my daughter, wife, look at it.
All right, okay, I'll do that.
Okay, right.
That's it?
Hello, good.
Same to you, thank you. I'll try to do it during the course of the program. All right, yes, indeed. Yes, so we are going to be extremely vigilant. And as I said, we sent under the Freedom of Information to EBC. Another one is being prepared. And we are communicating, of course, with international organizations to which, of course, EBC is a member, as well as, of course, as I said, other institutions, regional and international, that these, of course, such as the Carter Foundation. I got an email from them, I think, last week. Of course, I have been focusing on inviting. Why I'm saying that? I am saying that because of what Rowley said. when he said that he wrote the CARICOM, immediately people like me, red flags will be raised because he was too enthusiastic. He was too accommodating. He was too magnanimous. When, of course, he said that he wrote CARICOM, nobody asked. I think, yes, a question was asked with respect, because that was the conversation for a very long time by the opposition. So I want to say yes. But he was very generous. And he said a letter was on his desk. And that, of course, it was signed and so on. And then eventually, he come and say, well, listen, he got back, of course, a letter from them saying that they're willing to come. But he went on to say, and that is what generated the extreme concern and the red flags, plural, that would have been raised. And that is, he invite CARICOM, but nobody else, because the opposition sent a list of other institutions that he will not consider, and that by itself raised red flag, because when we looked at, of course, in 2020, when he was sitting in some pub and saying, of course, and agreeing, and of course praising himself in a sense that, of course, that let those observers come from the Commonwealth, let them come. They may have, of course, to sit out in the elections in a hotel room and will not be able, of course, to do what they would have come. We know, laughing and making fun. And then, of course, prior to that, he would tell us that, listen, he's not bringing any observers for the local government elections because we have had free and fair elections here. I mean, come on. This man need a bloody clout. Free and fair elections. And the court say, the local court say that EBC was unduly influenced and, of course, extended the time without authority in 2015. And then, of course, the Privy Council said that you try to take over the local government elections by, of course, usurping and undermining our right. And we don't know why you postpone it in order to get some kind of advantage, clearly. And the ABCs, and of course the Privy Council said, no, have it immediately, and you had to respond. Don't tell me about, you feel people living in Mars or something? But I want you, of course, to listen to this, and you'll understand now, because when he said that CARICOM, people like me and programs like these must raise, because he too accommodating. Guess what? Guess what, people? What we discovered? The Assistant Secretary General of CARICOM is Limo wife. You want to say? I say that the Assistant Secretary General of CARICOM is Limo wife, and the fact that Wowley could not only knowing that, he must know that, but, of course, to continue to say that you're not bringing anybody else, raise multiple red flags. And I want them to know that we know. Look at this. Look at this, people. Most despicable. He feeling bright. He could fool anybody. Nobody will take him serious.
Can come in front of me. I've already indicated to the Secretariat at CARICOM that the government of Trinidad and Tobago is asking CARICOM to send a delegation whenever the election takes place in Trinidad and Tobago. We expect a CARICOM delegation.
With elections constitutionally due in 2025, opposition leader Kamla Prasad Bisesa has repeatedly asked for international observers. However, Dr. Rowley maintains the observer team will be from within CARICOM.
So we are going to have CARICOM.
Listen to him.
We are going to have CARICOM. I did receive from the member or someone of her underlings a list of all kind of Tom, Dick and Harry from Ohio and Timbuktu. I'm not inviting them here.
And the United National Congress wins every...
Let's pause there. Don't go far. Stay right there, Saddam Hussein. The same way how he was braggadocio, his body language, his hyperboles, his apparent authoritativeness, push your hand in the pocket, and of course, songing as though he making sense, and saying that, listen, we bring in the CARICOM, but we're not bringing anybody else. Who the hell is you, Rowley? Is anybody else we want as well? You don't have that authority to undermine our electoral process having regard to your track record. That is another piece of gaslighting that we will examine tonight and moving forward. So we know what his intention is, not to bring others to come to Trinidad in order to, of course, look at the election, because his intention is to do what? To thief the elections. We must be vigilant. A pleasant good night to welcome to the corridor.
Good night, Mr. Lennox Smith.
Good night to you, my friend.
Yes, Sonny Gandhi calling.
Yes, man.
Yes, boy. Yesterday, in that parliament, if anybody was watching that, it's the first time in my life that man look as wicked as can be. That man, you could tell me a little worse than Satan, boy. But God doesn't deal with people how we just want him to deal with people. So he will live on. But let me tell you something. Yesterday in that parliament, what that man saying, boy, when I hear that man say how he doesn't meddle with the police service commission who they pick, and I study how that man say he write the police service commission and tell them he lose confidence in Gary. And today, that yesterday, you saying you doesn't meddle, boy. Eh? Like he does forget, boy, what he's saying. Eh?
But caller, but when the news broke, we the public weren't aware. Kamala and they were saying that a senior government official, and he was saying it wasn't he.
Yes.
He don't know.
Yeah.
And silence, of course, means consent. Silence means agreement. He preferred, of course, to give you all kind of circumlocution talk, roundabout talk, semantics, just as what he did as we are experiencing now. But go ahead, my friend.
Yes, boy. Man, this man said they getting yam now from Ghana and making it look like Trinidad they have no yam, man. This man does put over something. You know, when I look at this man, I said, this man, I bet he have beast in him. And when you watch them other fellas around here, like these fellas at a loss, you know.
Yeah,
because they
can't believe
this man
that a
lying,
big man could be lying. So a big man could be so damn dishonest. A big man that could be so deliberately hoodwinking and of course deviating from the truth in the manner that he has, and of course trying, of course, to generate new attractions in order to deflect the real issue. That is the nature of that criminal.
Boy, that man showing up, you know. Man, if people ever see him, you know, well, your eye closed and you're worse than a blind man, you know.
Of course.
You know what I'm telling you? This man showing up, but here, just imagine the man say the yam go replace the Canadian potato, you know, boy. The white potato, you know. I don't know, but I say I know yam since a small growing up, boy. For me, yes, I know the yam at tuta, the kush, the mauve one, the white skin one, the white yam, what we was called cut and throw, right, soft and nice. Today, you telling me about yam, boy, from Ghana, boy? Oh, good. But I don't know what kind of person we're dealing with, you know, and put it over.
The man is a beast in human form. He is he is bestial, he is devilish, he is diabolical, he is Luciferian. Somebody say that once he reached hell, the devil and all will of course vacate his place in
Yes.
hell. That is how
Yeah, the devil
dangerous
has
this
to
man is.
afraid
Yeah.
he, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the devil has to afraid he. Because, you know, let me tell you something now. Looking at this Ola Christopher issue again, when this man, I can imagine how Ola feeling now. Although that me have no sympathy for she,
Yeah.
honestly speaking. But as a person who looking in there, to see how this man could just chew you and spit you out, you know. This man will put you out like a plum seed in a brother, man.
Oh yeah. So
And
you already
yeah,
bust
boy, I'm telling
immediately.
you.
It doesn't matter what you did for him or what association you
No.
would have had with him. And it is in his interest. Man, he spit you out like a Governor Plum. Pleasant.
Yeah.
Just hold on, caller from Petty Valley. Caller? Are you
Yeah,
there?
so
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Gandhi.
yeah, so
like a local.
I said to myself, Trinidadian must never forget
Miss
what
Petty
is
Valley,
man doing to you.
Just
you know?
hold on.
Yeah, I'll finish just now.
Yeah.
When I just going up to Grand Chimay,
Yeah, go
on
ahead.
that side, they show on the news how these people they have no water for years and years and years. They now telling them they have to know how they voting in order to get a fishing depot, you know, because they mightn't be able to get nothing again. All these years that come down, Moruga people voting
They
for
will do
PNM.
that. They will do that as if it's
Oh,
some
God.
kind of is a eureka moment. They suddenly get bright and what
Yeah.
they're talking, you know, just to get back to the position, and then this pain, ache, and agony, drudgery, and of course disaster continues.
But
Not this time.
man, I don't believe they will get through it.
No, they can't get you.
Praise
They can't
God,
get you.
people-
Obviously,
people open their eye, but-
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
The Yampy has
Yeah,
come out,
yeah.
and the people have eye washed their faces. They eye washed the
Yeah.
whole face. They eye washed the whole face.
Yeah.
And therefore, they stand a chance. Right now, why is he talking? He bumps, he palpitating, you know. But of
Yes.
course, he has to give a show. He has to show that he's,
Yeah.
of course, in charge and large. But when he go home and sleep now, he knows. Because Tobago delivered it to him, and he's from Tobago.
Yes.
I'm telling you, he had to live
Yes.
over the Bocas. I don't know where he getting stone and big stone to hold up over the Bocas. But we'll see.
Yeah.
I thank you very much. So let's
Yeah,
go to the
well,
next line. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Bob
President,
Bondem.
good night. Welcome.
Yes, Lennox.
Yes,
Good
go ahead.
evening.
Yes.
Talking about the yam again.
Yeah.
Lennox, it's how many years ago Rowley went to Ghana and promised that we were going to get yam and cassava. Tonight in newscast said 1 year ago. And it's 1 year ago when he went. And it's
Listen,
shipment-
don't be surprised. Let me just
Lennox.
be here. Don't be surprised if he come and tell you that yam does take a year or so to grow.
Oh, boy,
Yeah, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. The man is a laughing stock. I mean, you have to just caricature him. You have to see him as an ass and a bald-headed ass as well, and wish you could hit him some clout for the asshole talk that he does talk. He and Stuart Young too, telling us that listen, people will come to Trinidad when they come out of the Panama Canal, when in fact Trinidad and Tobago is south. Jamaica is on the shipping route, and of course north and closer to the United States. That's the kind of nonsense they did, and believe that somehow they could get away with that in perpetuity. They have reached the zenith, and the people have reached the zenith as well of their tolerance of that level of hogwash. But go ahead, my friend.
Yes, Lennox. It's seedlings the people Ghana sent.
Yeah?
I think it's 1,200 seedlings.
Yes. Seedlings.
Yam is-
I thought it was the raw material. I thought it was the actual mature
Yam,
material where you can put in the pot one time. Seedlings, you bring?
That was the first impression I got with the yam and cassava.
Well, that's the impression I got as well, that they would be exporting
But
the complete item to us, so we could put in the pot one time.
tonight, they said it's seedlings and it's going to take between a year and 18 months or something. before you get the yam.
Oh my goodness! Yeah. That's Rowley for you. You can predict this man.
If you saw the
Yeah, it is pathetic. I mean, it is.
Them is Rowley, the minister.
Hold on, caller. We have Miss Pittvalley on the line.
And somebody else.
Yeah.
And the three of them have on these I don't know how you call it.
It has no impact. It has no relevance. It has no relevance. I mean, that is overdoing it. That is provoking the people.
Some floppy hats they had on.
Uh-huh.
Like overseas or something when they're on the garden.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Lennox.
Provoking the people, you know, boy. Provoking the people in these last days. Just get out. But no.
Just said we have all kind of yam in Trinidad. So I don't know if Ghana yam could be a special yam. I hope it could be affordable.
That's super talk. He just to say he deliver that which he didn't deliver.
I hope it will be affordable.
Yes.
Us to buy it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, of course. Yes, indeed. Go ahead, caller, on the other line. Go ahead, caller.
Pleasant night, Mr. Lennox.
Good night. Where you calling from? Where you calling from, sorry?
Yeah, Sando.
Sando, yes. Go ahead, Sando. Sando number 2, as I say.
Most originally from Moruga.
All right, okay. Well, Sando, stroke Moruga. Go ahead.
Well, boy, Trinidad really hit rock bottom.
Yes, indeed. Mr. Chincity, just hold on. We have Mr. Moruga, Sando, stroke Moruga here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Yeah.
Trinidad really hit rock bottom.
Oh yes.
Let me tell you something. Being a man from Moruga, let me tell you a few names of the yams that we have.
All right.
You listening?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
You have kaplau. You have yamatuta.
Okay.
You have juba yam.
Wow.
You have finger yam.
Wow.
You have ginger yam.
Wow.
You also have bottleneck yam. You also have white yam. Also, you have
yellow yam. I know about that one.
Yeah, that yamatuta.
Oh, that's
right?
Good. Okay. You know that.
Yeah. All the yams is bare seed.
All right.
So I don't see where's the big hodgepodge about bringing it from Ghana. I mean, there's an embarrassment to the people in this country.
That is typical of Rowley. He comes up with these phantasmagorical stories that really has no relevance, that they are at best nonsensical. But of course, he will say that with language that are extremely fluffy, or should I say flowery, and make it look as though it is significant when in fact it is nebulous, nonsensical, superficial, and superfluous. We have to know the man. He loves to invite people to hate him, and we should hate him. But enough to go to the polls and do what we have to do. Go ahead.
Well, let me say this quickly because I know you have other people on the line.
Yes.
He mentioned that the nutrition. Yam has no nutrition. Yam comes just like rice. Yam is
carbohydrates,
water.
Carbohydrates, yes.
You understand? There's nothing nutritious about yam. I mean, it's a poor people food. People love it. I love it also. But anyway, Mr. Lennox, I just wanted to mention that. Have a blessed one.
Thank you very much. The man is nonsensical. He has gone mad. I mean, you can see that he is in cognitive and intellectual decline, and maybe he is about to enter, if not already, the stage where you could consider him to be suffering from loss of memory because of old age. Pleasant good night. Welcome, Mr. Chincity.
Pleasant good night. Good night, Miss Sandra Cruz.
Good night,
good night, Miss Rima and Mr. Tagarigua. Well, I'm watching something here. You're bringing back memories to me, boy.
Go ahead.
You bring back memories to me. I seen you have on that shirt, that school shirt you have on there. I want to know what like and you have me back in school, right? Because I used to go to school on Besson Street down there, you know.
All right.
School, Bethlehem. All right, so I'm feeling so now. But anyhow, here's the thing, Lennox. Let me ask you something. Now, only I show you, follow here. Just go along with me.
Yeah.
Now you're sitting down there, you're all like a professor, and now I consider myself a professor in my own little world, right? So I can give you competition one-on-one. Who's more Kobo and who's more, you understand what I'm saying? I can hear that because we in the same level, right?
Good.
Right. But this is what it is now. Imagine a nice, young, fresh, good-looking boy come up now and make a statement. And before the Minister of National Security now fight the battle, he had to go to the big man now for him to stand up and say, well, I think it might be saying something out maybe wrong. Which he ain't saying nothing wrong, he's saying everything correct.
All right.
So what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to explain to you is that it shows where all he ministers on them, they know nothing. Nothing. The guys have defended themselves.
Yeah, a bunch of dunce.
Exactly. So he and all well, he's the head of the dunce.
Vacuous
so, he has to still stand up.
Yeah.
Yes. So they can't think. But anyhow, coming back to reality here now, when UNC gets into power, there's a thing called a reset button, and I think she should press it because this is what it is happening. First to begin, I mean, you probably see it on the news. I don't know if you're aware of it, but they mentioned that these people and them get a house smashed down, and unfortunately,
some part of the country, agency
right.
did
everybody
that.
Know
state agency responsible for housing, mashing down people's house.
Right. Everybody know right from wrong. Basically, I had to go on and go on. But what I'm trying to say is that the way how you do things, you get people to understand, and that's it is. But in Kamala time, they get deed of comfort. They get a lot of stuff that will, land for the landless, and all these different things could have been taking place. Or I guess if they have nothing for them, they could have talked to them and let them know, well, look, this is what is happening, and we're trying to work with all you. But no, you come through the back door, from what I understand, and mash down the people in them, please.
And brutally.
You see, I get
heartlessly.
It is not fair. It is heartless.
Stone-heartedly deal with that boy.
Okay, let me say if it's men and women, adult men and adult women. Okay, well, all right, they go fend for themselves, but you have babies, you have little babies, newborns.
Them in business.
Newborns inside of there. So what, they have no heart. So we don't know, everybody should know, this government doesn't have heart for nobody. They laugh at certain things. You can see it in the background picture when they say certain things, they're laughing at it because it doesn't make it, they don't care.
That's right.
So let me press this reset button. And when Kamala gets in, reset everything. Meaning they can't change everything. In other words, then you can't get rid of houses. No, you have to build houses, but you have to know how to do it. So let me reset it and do things correctly. And especially like when you go in some of these civil servant places like ID card places, birth paper places, and different institutions like the NIS. Let them talk to these citizens with compassion and understanding, not like buffing them up, like taking an example from their former boss, because he could be you understand? He could be in blue light and silver bracelet, as you just say. Yeah. You understand? So, all right, Lennox, so I just give you a heads up on that.
Yes, man. Your contribution always appreciated.
And let me go forward.
Yes, bye-bye. Yes, indeed. All right, of course, I know there are several persons on that same line, but I didn't want to take the chance of course, accommodating you. And next thing, of course, I cut him off. Last time we had that challenge. So, yes, indeed. But, of course, let's go back to Rowley and, of course, his new attempt at the old effort to steal an election, the coming elections. We know, and we are not going to sit idly by and make that happen. Let's go to the lines. President, good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Yes, good night, Mr. Lennox.
Good night to you.
I just listen good. I just listen. I try my best to listen. And I listened to Rowley there in the parliament when you played the video.
Yes.
I heard him before, and I told you I understand it as the lady wrote to him, which is the law. She's supposed to do that first.
Mr. Tobago, just hold on. We have Miss Arima. She's going to be short. I know that. Go ahead, Miss Arima.
Yes, I just be short. So, as I say, that is the law, and she's supposed to do that first, because it's he to really write to observers to bring them here. But how she did that, right, where he said she wrote to him and mentioned a set of different, I can't remember the word he said, but people from all over here, we know, is 16 organizations.
Yes.
So she mentioned the organization so that he could at least pick 5, 6 of them together with CARICOM. We will be satisfied if they come together with CARICOM. We just don't want CARICOM alone. We want others that we keep mentioning. I keep mentioning the OAS, the Carter Foundation, right? So that we could have a free and fair election. But no, he talk in his bully way and say he will be writing only to CARICOM. So he ignoring all what she tell him, advise him where he could pick out of these 16 organizations. He don't care about them because he and CARICOM have a plan. Now, I told you all about these people long time, since before the elections, the local elections last year. I told you all about this gang they call CARICOM. Before they even put their foot in here, when they was coming to eat up and drink up, I told you all, everything I say, it come to pass. So I'm telling the citizens of these people, try and see how y'all could open all your mouth and keep talking for the lady to report him to the Organization of Americas. That is the only way out. And they will deal with him. Or they will put me in trouble here. Yes, because indeed. if we ain't get the Carter Foundation, the OAS, Commonwealth, and these dangerous CARICOM people, dog eat we supper in here. We don't want nobody telling we from the UNC, none of them telling we, let we take a chance and because a certain thing going on, we go win because Rowley looking bad. Rowley looking bad, but he dealing with a serious gang.
Yes.
Right? A dangerous gang.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Of course, I mean, by now, every single person understands what that intent is. Everybody because experience is the best teacher. But let's go straight, of course, to Silver Fox. President, good night, Silver Fox.
Good night, Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
I am a disciplined child, you know.
Yeah, I know that. You conform, of course, to basic etiquette. I
don't make noise when people go into talk. Let us put the contribution and put it properly.
Yes.
Now, I asking a question this tonight. Why we are blaming me too, all of us, why we sit down and let Rowley reach this stage, right? And we didn't stop Rowley. Rowley is a different person to us. Why we sit down and make Rowley do all kind of changes to Trinidad and Tobago, and we just sit back and relax? Why we not stand? Why we are not getting up and stand up towards this man? Just imagine. Satan don't even want Rowley. God kick Satan out of heaven. Satan don't want Rowley to get, because next thing Rowley kick him out of hell. What really going on? What's really going on with this man? And we want foreign observers. I can't take on the next 5 years of Rowley, you know. Right now, I'm so frustrated, you wouldn't even understand. Just getting up on Rowley is the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. And then he have this next clown called Siot Young. This Chinese, I don't know what is going on with Trinidad people.
All you're talking about with black, 90%, 95% black, 5% white. All you was talking about South Africa. All you're talking about
Caller, just hold on. We have Tobago
right?
on the line.
We stand up for South Africa against apartheid. Eh? The people in Trinidad and Tobago stand up against them. We stand up. Sorry. We stand up with the people. They stand up with these people against Israelis. Eh? And we are standing up for ourselves. All kind of people doing all kind of things. We have to stop that. This has to stop. And let me tell you something. It's not fair to call Port of Spain, just call all the program and morning.
Yes.
Right? That fella, let me tell you something. That fella is lonely. When Miss Santa Cruz and Miss Woodbrook talking, it's alleged I just hear people saying that man that be balling out like a woman in the car park. Right?
The man is a total buffoon, man. He's comic relief in my view. He wanted there where angels fear. So let him go ahead with those reckless
statements. But give somebody else a chance.
All right, my friend, yes.
I'll look on and listen.
Yes. Go ahead, caller. Where you calling from?
Yeah, well, it's me again.
Oh, yes. Go ahead, my friend. Yes.
Yeah, all right. Here it is. I was looking at a clip this evening from News from Tobago, and there was this guy, ACP, retired. He's a lawyer, and the man was sharing some very important information based upon that whole thing there with Ulla Christopher. And what he was saying is that the Minister of National Security and the head of the Security Council in Trinidad.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot arrest the police commissioner without them knowing.
But they try to say that they are isolated, they are insulated, that there is no nexus, that they are unaware. We know that the Marlene McDonald arrest, we know that they would have known. We know that plane that they commandeered to take to Barbados in order to bring back Brent Thomas, we know that Rowley was actively involved, of course, in promoting Vincent Nelson, the Vincent Nelson matter as a state witness for his government to put, of course, Kamala Prasad-Bissessar and her associates in handcuff. All of that. And then, of course, he'd come back and say nothing different, of course, to telling us that he's not closing down Petrotrin, and then he went and closed it down. That has been the modus operandi. That has been the evil agenda of this man. The man is a total, what I consider to be mendacious individual. He spontaneously lies and believe that somehow he will get away with that. He don't know that Hitler tried the same thing too, and Mussolini, and all of them had to kill themselves, or the people dealt with them very seriously.
But listen, the population have the work cut out for them, eh?
Yes, but of course, but that has always been. I mean, history is replete with examples like that. Zimbabwe, of course, and Robert Mugabe now, and of course, out existentially in Venezuela, we see that. But eventually, evil will never prevail. Put another way, good will always prevail over evil, and that is the direction in which we must go as a people. So to be cowed or to be somehow that situation is a permanent one. Rowley himself can't turn no stone. He is made up of blood, flesh, and of course bones, just as any one of us. But of course he will try his best to try to bully his way to, of course, to tell us that somehow he has some special ability. No, he's a con man, a criminal, a rapist, and a pedophile. That is what he is. Go ahead, caller. You're from Trin City. Trin City, go ahead. Oh, sorry about that. Just a minute. Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Rima mentioned something there, and I mean, definitely, she in one of her statements, she mentioned that we should do something to get the international observer. Now, let me ask you something. I'm thinking outside the box here, so I stand corrected, and if you could address it, that would be fine. If not, then we move on again to figure it out.
Yes.
Now, the question is, we need to get these people on them inside here. Now, we know Rowley is not going to do that. Maybe I could put my head on a block and I get thing, but I guarantee he ain't going to do that because he's scared. So the thing about it, if he doesn't do that, and if he decides to do it, like you said, that's why argument said he decides to do it. It go come like the night for the next day, and they ain't gonna come because they're too soon, right? So he go say, well, I bring them, but they can't come.
Yeah, like what he tried in 2020.
Excuse.
Yeah, go ahead. Yes,
yeah, he will use a lot of excuse. So the question I want to find out, can a physical paper petition work on that? I mean, like signatures?
Yes. I'm saying to you, I'm saying to the world, I'm saying to all Trinbagonians, one of these days, maybe next week, I will put up the list of institutions that you can, of course, write to on your own. We will have a program dedicated to that, dedicated to all of the institutions that the EBC is accountable to as a member. We will put up, of course, international entities that provide across the globe observers for elections in democratic countries, and we are going to, of course, administer that level of pressure. Of course, as I said, I've already, of course, put a dossier to the State Department, etc., in order to... I, myself, on the ground report and on corridor, will be writing, of course, these institutions as well. But if all of us...
Right. So this is the question I'm going to ask you here now.
Go ahead.
With all the technology that we have now, because look, I'm talking to you on my phone and watching you, and you're talking on your phone and watching. Well, you can't watch me. Well, you're staring at me. But anyhow, but what I'm trying to say, I'm just using you as an example, okay?
Yes.
So let's say you was to write this letter in the proper context, because the average poor person might be able to put it in that context to write to these people to get address and all these things. So if you was to put it, write whatever it has to be necessary, and have that plastered on people's website or whatever it is, like the ground report and thing, and you could log on to this and do a physical. Well,
and you just adjust it to suit, put a different name, your name, of course. I wouldn't know all the name, but certainly to whom it is going, we can do that.
Right. Yes. Well, what they usually have, they will have a printout, I guess. Like some businesses do that.
A template, you could call it a template.
And you just type in your name and your address.
That's right.
Or whatever.
That's what we're talking about. Yes.
And then put a signature. You do a physical hand signature on it, or just put an initial, or whatever it is.
And of course, we have emails as well. We have email, electronic, and we have, of course, physical paper as well. Yeah.
So that's when, in other words, it goes back to you. It goes back to you, and then you could forward that towards where it is, because we don't know where it's going to go. So it forwards back to you, and then from you have that information now. You say, okay, it's going to go. You have different icons, like the whole 16 of them. And the person could choose which one they wanted to go to. If all 16, they press all. You understand what I'm saying? So at least these people
I hear you.
The whole country could get involved. That's what I'm trying to say. The whole country could get involved.
So make it easy for them.
Miss Arima, good job, girl. Good job. Listening to you. All right. Good job. All right, Lennox. So listen up here.
Okay, yes. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. There are several options, of course. You can, of course, we could put the template, a standard letter, and once we give you the listing, you put in the names and the addresses as well. You can send it directly through email, or you can, of course, use a physical, traditional letter, put it in an envelope and send it to whosoever. I don't have the capacity or the resources to, of course, collect all of these letters, because it could be thousands, and then send it. But of course, I think thousands coming from individuals, I think would be, of course, a very good gesture, and to keep on top, and it will help us as well as we get the government to understand that we are not going to countenance, we are not going to tolerate any attempt to steal the 2025 general elections. Go ahead, my friend. Go ahead, Miss Arima.
Yes. Good night again.
Yes.
For manners, let me say good night to Mr. Trincity. You say you're listening to me. I want you to listen to me. You see all what you say there? It are people in for that. And I am for that kind of story you come with. You know how I just talk? I just talk straight up. Don't feel no how. I talking straight up. We have to protest. We going by the embassy. We ain't going to the ambassador there. We just want to be there. We going with placard. We chanting. Right? That is what we have to do.
Mr. San Fernando, just
right?
hold on.
That is what we have to do. It ain't nothing about nobody doing all this writing. The lady could write anybody. She could write King Charles and all. That's the power she have. And the other day she write Trump, and everybody get vexed. All the time I saying she could write anybody. They now see she could write the President of the United States. Is she to write? She have full power. They will answer she right away. She's the appointed opposition of this country. You hear what I say? She is the appointed opposition of this country. She first. Let her do her work.
All right.
Let Ms. Bissessa do her work.
Thank you. All right. Yes. Well, of course, I disagree. I want to say that the option is for every single citizen, because the United Nations Charter not only recognizes institutions and elected representatives as Kamala and the UNC is, but certainly individuals, because the whole idea of the United Nations actually is to avoid a next world war. And therefore, of course, one of the causation of the two wars, First World War and Second World War, was, of course, the abuse of individual rights. And therefore, any individual can approach the United Nations, can approach, of course, these institutions to say that, listen, this administration has undermined, and they have a track record, and we expect that they will, of course, undermine the next election, having regard to what Rowley has already said, and put, of course, copies of these very clips, these tapes, and, of course, give them a referencing in terms of where they could find the information on the internet, etc. All of that is part and parcel of the process. So, in addition to, of course, protest, I say that the option is yours as well to do exactly that, to communicate with these people. Kamala will do her thing, but we as citizens must also be part and parcel of that process. This is a democracy. Government by the people, of the people, and for the people. Go ahead, Mr. San Fernando.
Yeah, good night.
Yeah, good night.
All your callers and everybody listening on the World Wide Web. That is a very good suggestion that Mr. Trincity just made there.
Yes.
I would really love to get in and do something like that.
Yeah, well, I'm going to put up I'm going to put up the list, and I'll have it like this. So that is behind me, so that you could pause it at your convenience when you're in your comfort of your home or your quiet moments, and choose which one. And most importantly, you could call me afterwards, probably to get some more details, as the case may be. All right?
Yeah, okay, I'll do that. But apart from that, listening to the tape with Stuart Young there, and you're talking about the economics, the economics in general.
The
right?
economy of scale, the whole question of advantages that Trinidad and Tobago would have had opposed to Jamaica, and he has contributed, of course, to taking away the competitive advantage, and then talking hogwash. I mean, come on, they had to tap. Go ahead.
The competitive advantage is what interests me.
Oh.
Because that's Stuart Young have a business. I don't know if this man where he learned business from. But any fool could tell you, down to the doubles man. Now, if you're running a business, down to the doubles man, right? If a man selling doubles, right? This man who's selling doubles will look to put, if he could mix the doubles with, let's say a doubles is China and whatever. But some people is put the little sweet sauce, and who won't taste it better, you go there?
That's right.
Doing that kind of thing.
That is a competitive advantage. Or he might well give you a normal doubles and a very small mini double to put with that, and he beating his competitors, right?
That's right.
In the case of Rowley and they, they take away the oil refinery. So we have no competitive advantage over Jamaica. And you're buying from them and have to resell to these ship owners. Where things go happen, and Jamaica right there, and closer to Panama, and closer to the destination port in the United States, Canada, and Europe. Come on, you have to be an ass to, of course, be pushing that on intelligent people in this country. They really believe that we are fools. They should be charged for treason. That is treasonous. Go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, okay, well, yeah, that's a contribution tonight.
Yeah, no problem. All right, thank you, yes. Let me get to Mr. I think I see Mr. Fox. Mr. Fox is there. All right, you could call back Silver Fox. Let's see if we can get some of the information, more information. Yeah, a lot of more information. I want to tell you, yes, that woman you're seeing there is the Assistant Secretary General of the CARICOM. Yeah, her name is Elizabeth. And guess what? That's the wife of Armour, a man known to lie, known to be part of a conspiracy to, of course, stay in government by exploiting, of course, our resources, mismanagement, incompetence, and the abuse of our money, apart from lying as part of his resume. And that is what Rowley, of course, recruited as his next Attorney General. Come on. So we know, and of course Saddam Hussein is right, but let's hear what they have to say. Let's hear what they have to say. Oh boy, all right, okay. Let me get to Silver Fox and then we'll play it. President, good night. Welcome.
Yes, I agree with the writing. The reason for that is because we have to let the world see, the whole world see that we are dissatisfied.
Yeah, all the ways,
with
everything. Everything reason.
With the government of Trinidad and Tobago, they are not treating us good, right? They are treating us as slaves, and we have to get out of that. So we first have to make the first step. Then Kamala now could write after, because they will see where the people is crying for help. So Kamala can write whoever after we cry out.
In addition, whether it's before or after, it doesn't matter, but we must do that as well.
After, so they can see she's not lying with what she has said, because we are not being treated as human in this country.
Yes.
We are shortchanged. Thank you.
And a government that is prepared, of course, to use the resources of the country and the state apparatus and put people in these places to undermine their own integrity and the integrity of the institution that would have been there. In this case, of course, is to superintend an election that they have failed so to do, but to prop up, of course, a very nefarious, evil, and anti-democratic group of individuals who have turned to be criminals and part and parcel of a criminal enterprise called the PNM. Let us go straight, of course, to that clip. And
any minute what can come in front of me. I have already indicated to the Secretariat at CARICOM that the government of Trinidad and Tobago is asking CARICOM to send a delegation whenever the election takes place in Trinidad and Tobago. We expect a CARICOM delegation.
With elections constitutionally due in 2025, opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissessar has repeatedly asked for international observers. However, Dr. Rowley maintains the observer team will be from within CARICOM.
So we are going to have CARICOM. We are going to have CARICOM. I did receive from the member or some one of her underlings a list of all kind of Tom, Dick and Harry from Ohio and Timbuktu. I'm not inviting them yet.
When the United National Congress wins, everybody wins.
Is that man? That man mad. That man mad. He has gone berserk. It's not for you to decide that, Rowley. The people want it. The people on whom you depended to be where you are. And suddenly you on your own with that nonsense, that shit you're on. That is shit. That is old talk. That is nonsense. the courts tell you that you are a blasted election thief. You don't know that the population will not trust you and don't trust you? Who are you? And let me tell all of this. He's saying that before he call or make the announcement that he getting out of the prime ministerial position and out of the party. Before, that is not a man who had a plan to get out. That was a man who wanted to stay there and probably until he get out by his foot. A coffin. Yes, that's when he said it. And suddenly, Trump come in and he want to go. Trump come in and he want to go. Delcy Rodriguez, the ghost of Delcy Rodriguez in his tail, among others.
When the UNC wins, everybody wins. When the UNC wins, everybody wins. They don't care about you. They care about themselves. It is time we get them out of office. My brothers and sisters, you have to mobilize this country. We cannot take another 5 years of this government. But today, my brothers and sisters, we have to mobilize. We have to mobilize. And I am calling on you people to be vigilant in the next election. Because what I am about to tell you is a very important matter that came to my attention this week. The political leader of the UNC has called for election observers, both international and regional observers. You all remember that? And Rowley said he have the letter by his desk. Apparently he signed the letter and he sent it to CARICOM. So CARICOM now will be the body who will send election observers to Trinidad to ensure that elections are being conducted in a fair manner. It has been brought to my attention, and I cast no aspersion on any person. Do you know who is the Assistant Secretary General of the CARICOM? None other than the wife of the Attorney General, Reginald Amo, Senior Counsel.
You hear that? I sure you ain't believe that. Let's play it again, because we did our research on the corridor. Don't frighten. You will get to see her. I'm sure you saw her, but you didn't know it was her.
Amo, Senior Counsel. To my attention, and I cast no aspersion on any person. Do you know who is the Assistant Secretary General of the CARICOM? None other than the wife of the Attorney General, Reginald Amo, Senior Counsel. So CARICOM, and I cast no aspersions on CARICOM, I cast no aspersions on the goodly Mrs. Solomon or the Attorney General. But there must be an appearance of fairness. There must never be an appearance of bias in these matters. So if Mrs. Solomon, the wife of the Attorney General, sits in the CARICOM Secretariat as the Assistant Secretary General, how do you expect us to feel about the observers that comes here? And I cast no aspersions on the fairness of the observers. But that is a matter I believe should be raised in the national interest. That is a very important matter.
47 heads of government
yes,
is going to be a particularly important meeting. And it's a meeting in which I think we are going to demonstrate how effective we have been in the last 50 years, but particularly in the last year. You mentioned Haiti. The role that CARICOM has played, and the CARICOM heads of government have played in bringing Haiti to the point that it is now, is not to be underestimated at all. I think
the point is that she's a powerful person there and wielding obviously a lot of influence, and that therefore Saddam is correct. It must appear to be. And therefore Rowley's statement categorically that he's only bringing CARICOM, it speaks volumes as to the intent that Rowley and they would have to steal the next elections, hoping that of course they will get, as they have been able to recruit over and over, elements to conspire to defraud Trinidad and Tobago population, the voting population, the electorate, of their choice to be in government in this country.
The heads of government made a commitment a year ago to support Haiti through a very difficult period, and a lot has happened since the last heads of government. And where we are now, where we have a Haitian-led, Haitian-owned process with a transitional presidential council in place, a transitional prime minister in place, is entirely due to the work that was done by Caribbean heads of government. And that is quite extraordinary.
So my brothers and sisters, if we vote resoundingly and we come out in our numbers, they could try how hard they cannot thief this election from us, because the will of the people is the will of God. And when the people speak, that is the voice of God. So I ask you all, in San Fernando West, in Arang West, St. Joseph, in Barataria Sawa, Toko Sangre Grande, La Hoqueta Talparo, Moruga Tableland, all of the marginal seats together with all of the other constituencies of Trinidad and Tobago. Rise up, Trinidad and Tobago. Let us get rid of this Keith Christopher Rowley administration. Get rid of Stuart Young. Get rid of Faris Al-Rawi. And let us install Kamla Persad-Bissessar as our next Prime Minister together with a UNC government. I thank you very much, Faizabad, for your...
So we are going to have...
Yes, indeed, of course. Go ahead, caller. I thought I should let Saddam Hussein complete his rallying call. Go ahead, caller.
Good night, Mr. Lennox.
Good night to you as well, my friend.
And good night to the right thinking to the subject beloved.
Yes.
Mr. Lennox, this country really believes that the Honorable Prime Minister never see a merit list, right?
I doubt it. I don't think there's anybody who will believe that hogwash.
This man, like, he really going mad or something, right? Because you stand up in the parliament where you could lie and Jerry would lie to say you never see a merit list. Dr. Rowley told we that he went and see the president when we wanted to know who went and see Paul Amerique. And he tell me he visited and he went on a platform and also ball. I can see the president anytime I want. That was his words.
That's right. Never telling us the truth. Never being direct. Always. Until, of course, the opposition was able to initiate impeachment against the president. I could imagine what the president tell him. Go and own up, because I ain't taking no fall for you. This is enough. But go ahead.
Yeah, because I wonder what's really wrong with this man. We heard you say it, just like how you tell me Peterson wasn't closing down. Excuse me, and all these sort of lies, and well, be out here and we listening and we know what's going on. And so I want, you have words that you use. I want Lavanti to be part of history.
That's right.
And we're not taking nothing less than 39 seats.
39 seats in Trinidad, that's right.
It must barely have an opposition coming from the PNM. 39. And the last thing I want to tell the public again, and I'll keep, anytime I get opportunity on any platform, I would mention it. Or you please go and check, make sure your ID good. Check and make sure you organize or look at vote, and when you make a choice, and according to Mr. Lennox, be part of history. Let me move this administration completely, because we are real work to do in this country after PNM led by Dr. Rowley. So Mr. Lennox, I decided you're taking in always the things that bring to the table. Let's open with faculties, and we just listen attentively, and we following you, we supporting you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You have a blessed one.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Yes, indeed. Let's go to this other line one time. Pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Hey, Lennox, how you going,
well, of course, as could be. I'm sure you can't believe what is happening. Dr. Rowley never does anything without some sinister, because he knows that he is persona non grata. He knows that his party does not find favor with the population. He knows that they are at the zenith of their reign, their pernicious and evil reign. They know that the zenith or the apex of the people's tolerance has been reached. So he's trying this is his last stance. So he tells us that he's going to go CARICOM, but then we realize now that CARICOM's Assistant Secretary General is Armour's, of course, Armour's wife. So it means, therefore, nothing different to when, of course, he went for that bogus, of course, doctorate in the United States, only to meet Biden so that they could ease him up for whatever problems that he has in the United States, because he was able, of course, to talk to Biden direct, and that caused him, of course, to be all over the place. But like a typical criminal, he has been all over, but Trump is there now, so he gone running. In other words, Trump is the external policeman for Trump come like, of course, Interpol. But go ahead.
Yeah, he can't escape that. He can do what he wants.
Yeah, he can do what he wants. That's right.
You know, when I started to go to school, the slate we used to use, you know, a slate with a kind of pencil. I don't know how to refer to that.
Yeah, a lead pencil as well, yeah.
So John and them started to go to school with pen and paper, you know. Right?
Yes.
So then they learn nothing. You don't even know what a slate look like.
Well, it look as though, you know, they say the slate was made of lead, and they said lead that damage your brain. So I don't know. I don't know if it's damaged brain material that they went to school with, and as a result, it affected them in their adulthood because they are total asses.
You know that much slate? I did when them started to go to school in pen and paper. So we who use slate and things, we have knowledge. Right? Yes, I'm stupid like for 7 enough.
I'm telling you come and tell people that you looking to buy oil from Jamaica, your competitor in the region, who also have bunkering facility, better located strategically, geographically, coming from Panama Canal, and you're going north. You ain't coming south. We're coming south to Trinidad for, especially when you buy fuel to sell over. You buy fuel from your competitor to sell over. You know that you're playing the fool. You have no competitive advantage. You can't track nobody for at least cheaper fuel. You want people to come down to Trinidad to get more expensive fuel when they could go to Jamaica and they're closer to America and their destination port and get cheaper fuel at the same time because they're buying directly from the oil refinery that they have up there. What kind of ass we have purporting to be minister, boy? Well, go ahead.
We are called two cheeks side by side with a hole in the middle.
A bam bam. And I'm sure all of them aren't palpitating right now. All of them behind Rowley there. All of them. Well, of course, Leon's guilty, so I think he might be spared. But if he was part of the decision to close down Petrotrin and the oil refinery and to engender the destruction that is Trinidad and Tobago today, engendered by these people, well, of course, he will have his share coming as well. But this is treason. Yeah.
That movie, they show it in a movie when it's true.
Yeah.
A movie called the Camp on Blood Island.
The what? The Camp on Blood Island?
The Camp on Blood Island.
Oh, the camp called Blood Island. Okay.
Camp. They used to make the Americans dig their own grave.
Yeah.
One big hole, start up in it, and then they shoot them down.
I'm going to watch that tonight. I'm going to watch that tonight because I can't wait, even though it's modern times. But I want to be able to imagine doing that to Rowley and his bunch of thieves.
You watch Red Sun on last night too?
Yeah, I did that, yes.
You like it?
Yeah, lovely.
But it's the camp on Blood Island, eh?
The camp on what?
On Blood Island.
Yeah, the camp on Blood Island. That should be...
Yeah.
Let me write it down. Let me write it down to make sure that I
Go
ahead. Yeah, the camp on Blood Island. Go ahead.
Right.
Yeah.
I will get you tomorrow. I will get you. If I get anything down there again.
Okay.
Down by Tuna. I gotta take something else into La Puna.
All right.
I'll get somebody to carry me, so you have to go ahead.
Okay, thanks, because tomorrow I'll be real busy. So thanks. I like that. All right. No bad breezes blow.
Right? Mm-hmm. So, what's the camp on Blood Island?
Yeah, watching that tonight. All right, thanks.
Yeah, I'm more excited movie.
Yeah, because we just have about 3 minutes again. I want to finish that video. Yeah, okay. Yes, people.
CARICOM. We are going to have CARICOM. I did receive from the member or someone of her underlings a list of all kinds of Tom, Dick, and Harry from audio.
I thought I had the last call there. Good night.
Lennox?
Yes, good night.
How are you doing?
Well, of course, as good could be in the circumstances, you know, we unraveling the plot of Rowley. He loved CARICOM now. Nothing different to when he say about the emails. Listen, he put that lie to the people. He put that lie into the parliament. He put that treasonous agenda in place, and then he say he don't want the police to investigate. He wanted the integrity commission to investigate when he presented those false and fake pieces of paper he called emails. And guess what? He partner, both partners, the chairman and the vice chairman, were of course inside of there. Talking about, of course, Ventor, who eventually, of course, was part of the Integrity Commission at the time, and he come out after the Integrity Commission said, but these are pieces of paper in word to be toilet paper or should be toilet paper. And then of course he come out and say he want to investigate the contents and not the email that couldn't go anywhere, because of course the email addresses were completely wrong. And so I'm making the point to say that he knows that Armour wife is the Assistant Secretary General of the OS, and that is why he wants, of course, the OS to be there. You see, these fellows can't fool us again, and therefore we are going to, of course, work assiduously on that. Trump had to know, and other countries of the Western world or the civilized world must also know what the intention is, Rowley, having regard to what the Privy Council told him, that he has breached the constitution of the country and tried to scuttle and to take away our right to vote. That is what he has done. That is what he has done. That's the intention. Let's go ahead. Go ahead, my friend.
But you know, Lennox, Rowley keep on talking once in a hogwash. You know, that guy has no brain. He doesn't
know that he has reached the end, the zenith of his reign. With that nonsense he gets on with. Lies after lies.
Lies so much.
Yeah.
Lies so much.
Now he outline himself now. He outlined himself. Nobody believes you. They will fact check everything that you say.
By the body movement, by the way they carry about themselves, they are liars.
Yeah.
They want to hoodwink the population.
Yeah. So we know. So tomorrow I will be bitter. I will be vicious. I will be excoriating. I will be relentless on that score, because that is the intention. Apart from others, we will unearth as we move forward when he inevitably must call the elections. He's frightened right now. Bamsi palpitating.
I see him about get the next job.
Yeah. We get a little problem in getting you. Go ahead, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see him about get the next job. You want to leave and run now?
Yeah.
Can I bring my people money before I go?
That's right. No, we will track him down. It's a small world. Hold on, Mr. Mova. In a while.
I can't remember what position, but he wants
to leave and run. We'll get him in a small world. No fighting.
Bring my people money.
Yeah. We will get it. We'll get blue lights and silver bracelets for the tails. All right, my friend. Yes. Okay. Yes. Thanks for calling. I'll try to finish up because it's 10 o'clock already. A pleasant good night. Final call. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
Good night. Call from Mover.
Yes.
Tell us, if I saw a clip with a lady who lives in Belmont and she was trying to get the person who's going up to represent her community, and Stuart Young was also there. She asked him a question: what would you do for our community? And the guy, Stuart Young, pulled up with the guy and walked away.
Yeah, that was a grandie. Yes. He pulled him away.
So he wanted to represent Trinidad and Tobago.
They can't respond. They have collapsed on themselves physically, intellectually. Yeah.
Any right-thinking citizen supposed to look. That should be the catalyst for any politician to represent Trinidad and Tobago to use.
Yes.
They see that video. That should be the catalyst. that will cause PNM to collapse.
Yeah.
Good night.
Yeah, of course. When we're focusing on Stuart Young of necessity, we must play that particular video. But let's go straight, of course, to complete tonight's video where, Rowley, your asses are grasses. We know what your intention is, at least partially. We will unearth the others because we are onto, of course, narcissism, and, of course, but yeah, because you're blasting narcissist in truth, but of course, narcissiscope is the woman name. Who is the chief elections officer. We will be, of course, tackling that as well. And we will be sending to Trump and others what your intention is and what your history is. You want to thief again? You want to stay there again? To wreak further havoc on Trinidad and Tobago? Hold on your tail. All year.
One Timbuktu. I'm not inviting them here. I'm not inviting them here. I'm not inviting them here. So we are going to have CARICOM. We are going to have CARICOM.
Hakata Talparo, Maruga Tableland, all of the marginal seats together with all of the other constituencies of Trinidad and Tobago. Rise up, Trinidad and Tobago. Let us get rid of this Keith Christopher Rowley administration. Get rid of Stuart Young. Get rid of Faris Al-Rawi. And let us install Kamala Persad-Bissessar as our next Prime Minister together with a UNC government. I thank you very much, Faizabad, for your...
So we are going to have CARICOM. We are going to have CARICOM. I did receive from the member or some one of her underlings a list of all kind of Tom, Dick and Harry from Ohio and Timbuktu. I'm not inviting them here. I'm not inviting them here. I'm not inviting them here. So we are going to have CARICOM. We are going to have CARICOM. I did receive from the member or some one of her underlings a list of all kind of Tom, Dick and Harry from Ohio and Timbuktu. I'm not inviting them here.
Be vigilant in the next election. The political leader of the UNC has called for election observers, both international and regional observers. You all remember that? And Rowley said he have the letter by his desk. Apparently he signed the letter and he sent it to CARICOM. So CARICOM now will be the body who will send election observers to Trinidad to ensure that the elections are being conducted in a fair manner. Do you know who is the Assistant Secretary General of the CARICOM? None other than the wife of the Attorney General, Reginald Amos, Senior Counsel.
That's so there, that's so there.
So CARICOM, and I cast no aspersions on CARICOM, I cast no aspersions on the goodly Mrs. Solomon or the Attorney General. But there must be an appearance of fairness. There must never be an appearance of bias in these matters. So if Mrs. Solomon, the wife of the Attorney General, sits in the CARICOM Secretariat as the Assistant Secretary General, how do you expect us to feel about the observers that comes here? And I cast no aspersions on the fairness of the observers, but that is a matter I believe should be raised in the national interest. That is a very important matter.
So we are going to have CARICOM. We are going to have CARICOM. I did receive from the member or some one of her underlings a list of all kind of Tom, Dick and Harry from Ohio and Timbuktu. I'm not inviting them here. I'm not inviting them here.
Yes, people, the plan is similar to how he dealt with the emails. You see, my mother always would say that when a man commits a crime, a heinous crime, as of course trying or stealing an election, and they are like dogs. They, of course, they are always doing the same thing over and over. They go to which part they committed the crime because the conscience pricked them. But like Rowley, he seemed to have a propensity to do these things in our faces and bold-faced and evilly and of course wickedly and with evil intent to undermine the electoral process because he's a blasted criminal, not a cult leader, a criminal. And yes, so when of course he talks that way, all you have to remember is what he did with the emails. He said that let the Integrity Commission, the Integrity Commission investigate it because he know that 6 months before he had it. And he went home. He went home by his friend who was the I say he's his neighbor, who was the chairman of the Integrity Commission at the time. Ken Gordon. Remember that? And Ken Gordon had to resign because evil cannot, of course, remain contained. So the media get to find out, the opposition get to find out. And Gordon had to resign because Rowley went home by him and showed him the emails and them. Trying to get that advantage, trying to influence the man's mind to say that them false things, them concocted things that he, Rowley, put together is real. So influence, of course, the outcome at the level of the Integrity Commission. But little did we know, he also had, of course, Ventor, the former judge, as vice chairman of the Integrity Commission. So when, of course, the Integrity Commission coming together said, no, this thing is hogwash. When next you get, and that is my interpretation. It's like saying, when next you get a call, when next, of course, you want to defecate, use them paper for toilet paper. Yeah, that is in level of disrespect we must have for that nonsense that is treasonous that this man perpetrated on all of us, not just the sitting government. And when, of course, Ventor realized that the majority of the Integrity Commission, of which he was a part and vice chairman, he couldn't take it, wanting, of course, to defend the indefensible and the evil that is Rowley and Al-Rari and Stuart Young and so on. And he comes out and resigns because he knows the implication. If he went to speak without, of course, resigning, he resigned. But he couldn't take it because Rowley was on the receiving end. On the receiving end, coward that they are. And he come out and he knows that, of course, his utterance will carry some weight. And Ventor, a former judge, he said that the Integrity Commission wasn't fair. They should have investigated the contents of those pieces of paper that Rowley projected and say is emails. And today, the same Ventor is a one-man, of course, commission of inquiry to find out about land that was acquired for the highway to Point 14. And the last time it was over $11 million that was already spent. And not a single session was initiated. Eating off the state, eating, of course, our young children money, feeding off the state coffers and the people who pay taxpayers. Yeah. All now, you're telling me that he must now get back in office by trying that again with, of course, CARICOM? No, Rowley. Your ass is grasses, people. That is the woman there that is Lima's wife, Elizabeth Solomon. Yes. Rowley won't tell us that. We had to find out. So now we know that is a email gate scenario he wants to engender or inject into the next elections by telling us categorically what? Only CARICOM coming? You're freaking mad or what? People, of course, don't forget, of course, tomorrow night, no corridor. I know that you would have loved to have another piece of this because there is more. But, of course, I thought I should conclude. And, of course, don't forget, I will be playing it tomorrow morning, again, on the ground report. So you'll be able, of course, to get a second bite at that wonderful cherry of information, expose, and investigation. And to know full well that all of us, not only must we come out and vote, and Lavantil, you must be part of that historic event to let the PNM know once and for all that you have awakened. You are no longer a slumber. You are no longer Rip Van Winkle now waking up, but you have awakened, and therefore will do what you have to go to do in order, of course, to change this evil and to relegate them to the dustbin of history. No. Gosh, I can't take any more call, man. All right, okay. I said you had to be quick. I said I wasn't taking any more. All right, go ahead, my friend.
Yes, Lennox.
Quickly.
Two things.
Yeah.
One, you have to describe the Prime Minister for me, and two, tell your partner, your pie man, what is his name? Who he's be hanging out with on a Friday? What's his name?
Spargos.
Yeah.
The name of the place here.
Yeah, well, your partner now, he was on the show. What's his name? Is that
Oh, Mikey.
What's his name?
Mikey. Mikey.
It's Mike. No, the guy who was with you on your station.
Dada Gabriel. Yes, Dada Gabriel.
Dada. Yes. Tell Dada I'll say good night and enjoy your day tomorrow, right?
Yes, man. Thank you.
But make sure and describe this man for me before I go. All right.
Yes, evil, wicked, diabolical, and nasty. But let's go straight, of course, to of course, our...
From the Trinidad, location 7 miles off the coast of Venezuela. SOS, Mayday. Help!
Yes, people, of course, we have come to the end of tonight's program. Of course, don't forget tomorrow morning, the ground report, Andy, Michael, myself. Of course, Andy's a bit under the weather. His voice is giving some problems. I hope mine's hold out for tomorrow morning. But nonetheless, we are committed and dedicated. Have a wonderful rest of the night. God bless. And, of course, it was a pleasure doing it for you tonight as well.
Someone turn the bridge over to a captain named Chambers. Me blood crawl, things start to fall. Hold me head when I sail a ball. Captain, this ship is sinking. Captain, the seas are rough. Oh yes, we gas tank call.
I am waiting. I have already given the instruction. The draft is prepared, and any minute now can come in front of me. I have already indicated to the Secretariat at CARICOM that the government of Trinidad and Tobago is asking CARICOM to send a delegation whenever the election takes place in Trinidad and Tobago.
From the Trinidad, location 7 miles off the coast of Venezuela. SOS, Mayday. Help!
So we are going to have CARICOM. I did receive from the member or someone of the family a list of all kinds of trouble. I'm not inviting them here.
When the United National Congress wins, everybody wins. When the UNC wins, everybody wins. When the UNC wins, everybody wins. They don't care about you. They care about themselves. It is time we get them out of office. My brothers and sisters, we have to mobilize this country. We cannot take another 5 years of this government. But today, my brothers and sisters, we have to mobilize. We have to mobilize. But I'm calling on you to be vigilant in the next election. Because what I
shall we abandon ship or shall we stay on it and perish slow? We don't know. Captain, you tell me what to do. Whoa.
And probably say he have the letter by this. Apparently he signed the letter and he sent it to CARICOM. So CARICOM now will be the body who will send election observers to Trinidad to ensure that the elections are being conducted in a fair manner. It has been brought to my attention, and I cast no aspersion on anybody.
With wealth that view surpassed.
None other than the wife of the Attorney General, Reginald Ramos, Senior Counsel.
There was few in her class.
Faithfully
she fulfilled her sailor's need. Some were overpowered by greed, and so they picked for slow. Some took by bulk and go. Now she looked dull, she's at a lull. She could barely stand. Mr. Solomon, the ship is sinking. Captain, the seas are rough, oh yes. We gas tank almost empty, no electricity. We oil pressure reading low.